Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time for a top 10!
It's the top 10 new Capenna Commander cards.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, joined by Amber, and we're bringing you daily Magic content and almost daily scattered throughout cats. If you want to support the channel, best way to do it is a TCG player link in the description. If you click the link and buy cards through it, we're going to get a kickback on the order as Amber does something weird, and you spend no extra money while still supporting the channel.
And we would appreciate that greatly as we are trying to reach a goal this month. And if we reach that goal, Best Commander Cards Blue Edition is coming out next month.
It's a big one.
It's a big project. This video is sponsored by Maraschiello, as everyone knows, and stay tuned for a sneak attack. We're going to sneak it in there, and you're going to be like, oh, what's the next card? Oh, no, they got us with Maraschiello again.
How do they keep getting me?
Happy birthday to everyone's birthday is today. Before we begin, thank you all for watching on your birthday.
What a great treat for both of us.
Yes. Let's hop into this video. It is the top 10 cards from New Capenna Commander. There's 5 full decks, so we kind of had to separate, New Capenna and the Commander set. Sometimes we push them together, but
There's
five,
so much.
There's so much. There's literally like 90-something new cards, so it gets its very own list today. Was there anything you want to say before we get to the top 10?
No.
Okay, then let's get to the top 10 because we don't have any honorable mentions today. It is number 10, Debunking Verdict, and it is 5 mana, destroy all creatures that don't have counters on them. So it's the middle of the road board wipe, but ultimately, counters decks, this will be the best board wipe in your deck often, as it can be a Plague Wind effect for only 5 mana, and that's what we look for in these cards. Though, like, we graded it a C+, and I still would grade it a C+, I look at this card and I say, when it's good, it's great, and there will be decks that will absolutely go to this card.
It's one of those cards that's like never good. It's only bad or great.
Yes. And but when it's great, it's like, oh, 5 mana Plague Wind.
Right.
That card is bonkers. So you're going to be super happy to have this in any counters deck. Obviously, you're avoiding it when you don't play a counters deck, though I do think it has some niche applications with commanders that enter with counters on them, as it'll never destroy your commander, even if your deck isn't focused necessarily on counters.
There's a handful of commanders that I think can pump your whole team too, so there's got to be something there. Or, Lena Selfless Champion gives your guys indestructible anyway, so maybe you have some counters flowing around, and then you got Lena as a backup. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like you said, there are just an Atraxa deck. A lot of them are counters decks. So, Atraxa will like this card. It'll be a good board wipe in that deck.
Yep, let's go to number 9. We got Cryptic Pursuit. 2 blue-red for an enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, manifest the top card of your library as a 2/2. Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, like the 2/2s, exile it if it's an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card until the end of your next turn. We haven't gotten one of these in a while. It's the whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, make some kind of token, except the token isn't really a token. It's the top card of your library, and if it's an instant or sorcery, as you trade it off and board wipes happen, this enchantment, first of all, stays because it's not a creature like a lot of the other ones. It's not 1,000 mana like some of the other ones that, like Metallurgic Summonings, it's just extra mana. And it draws you cards when they die.
Yeah, it does. And this card advantage can get you more card advantage because if you hit a draw spell, you're going to draw more cards. And whatever you get off of these, also something I like about it is when you're attacked, you're aware of what your cards are and when you need them. So if you have 3 manifests from casting instant sorceries in your deck, you can go, okay, I'll chump with the one I know is a burn spell because I need to burn a creature off the battlefield. It is a cool advantage to have that, and you know that the other ones are just going to die because, hey, this one is a land and that one is a creature. So those ones I can't do anything with. Though you can turn the creature's face up still, which is really cool. This card is really awesome. Manifest itself allows creatures to be turned face up. So basically, you're hitting everything in your deck because
in a Spellslinger deck, what else is there?
There's not much else. There's the other payoffs. You're not hitting the other payoffs. This card's really cool. Obviously, hyper specific. You gotta be Spellslinger. You want 30, 40 spells in your deck, and then this card is that nice cherry on top as one of the payoffs.
And yes, Cryptic Pursuit is 4 mana. Metallurgic Summonings and Shark Typhoon are 1,000 mana, like I said earlier. 1,000.
Yeah, I mean,
you never even get there.
2 more mana, you got it.
1 more mana.
One more mana, and it's just as pip intensive and in less colors. You gotta be kidding me.
I could never.
All right. Well, number 8 is Sneak Attack Moxfield.com. Moxfield.com is the best deck building website ever.
Ever made.
Period.
Try to name a better one. You can't.
You can't.
I saw you try to, but you can't.
And they're constantly improving. They literally are in their Discord taking anybody's complaints, any problems, and they are improving them to make the website as good as possible. And it's already insanely good. So every step and every improvement is just like, wow, we have the best deck building website that's ever been made.
Oh,
but
look,
what
I can do this now.
But what if it had an extra feature?
Right.
What if it had another feature? I'm recently learning that there's shortcuts. And like,
yeah, it's just getting crazy where you're probably going to be able to start just like doing some ninjutsu on your keyboard and just building a deck that way, and that'd be crazy.
You can hold one button. I think it's control on that. I don't want to say which one it is. The shortcut is on the website.
Right.
But you hold control and click it, it takes you straight to text. It's
and you can just, I think, hover over a card and hit a certain button to just delete the card from your deck. You don't even have to click and then scroll and then click. It's just like gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice. It's infinite features on moxfield.com. Go use them. We love that website. Now, the real number 8. It's Indulge Excess. Indulge is 2 and a red for a sorcery. Whenever you attack this turn, for each creature, you get a 1/1 green-white citizen creature token tapped and attacking. Its aftermath is Excess. Whenever a creature deals combat damage this turn, you get a treasure token. This card is really good. It just doubles up every single one of your tokens. So if you have 5 attackers, you're attacking with 10 guys now. That is awesome. And then if you want, you take 2 more mana, throw it in, and you just, whatever creatures get through, now you're getting mana back to continue your turn. This can go mana positive after spending 5 mana. And that's kind of crazy to think about. Like a 5 mana spell that can advance your board state and go mana positive is not something you see a lot.
I'm here for this red going wide thing, where maybe we're either supporting like a lot more support for Naya tokens or Naya go wide, but also now your red decks can probably just more easily create this big board and just beat people up.
I'm absolutely super excited. Like I've mentioned, I'm going to build Jetmir, and there's so many cards from this set because they went, hey, Naya is the go wide color. Like, I feel like I'm going to be playing like 15 cards off of New Capenna just because things like this exist.
Where it's so good at it.
It's so good at it. This and like Rabble Rousing from the original sets, like, what compares to that? What is making that many tokens?
We don't have stuff like this, especially in red, that makes this many tokens just kind of, here they are.
Exactly.
Coming at you.
A huge fan of this card. I just, doubling your attacker numbers is insane. That's insane numbers.
Let's go to number 7. It's Life of the Party, 2 and a red for a 0/1. Trample, first strike, haste. When it enters the battlefield, if it's not a token, every opponent gets one, and they're all goaded forever. And when it attacks, it gets +X/+O until in a turn where X is the number of creatures you control, which obviously accounts for each player. They're all going to start smashing into each other. Some of them might be chump blocking. You have one that attacks right away. Maybe you hold it back because the rest of them are goaded. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, this is a really good card. It's like shocking because it's like it's stats, but obviously it's giving away more stats. It's a lot. Like this card gets crazy real quick,
especially if you flicker it.
Ugh, yeah, but like your opponents are just going to be beating each other up, and yours is going to get in right away. I love this card so much. I just think this is on top of being a great card, it's a brilliant design that we've never seen before. We've never seen anything like
See, they tried it before once, like in 2015 with the Lightning Storm. I can't remember what it is, but everybody gets a Lightning Rager, a 5/1.
Yeah, you're right.
And that card wasn't that good. I don't think they had to attack. What was the deal with that card?
They couldn't attack you for sure. And maybe they did have to attack, but they couldn't attack you, but their stats weren't that good. This thing's stats are amazing. They're goaded, which means they can't attack you ever for the rest of the game. I know for the lightning thing, I think you had to keep the lightning guys, but I'm not sure. But the card that made the lightning guys, I think you had to keep it.
Yeah, and I don't think you kept the token; just kept going away.
Yeah, exactly. This card is just bonkers. This card is you give away 4 things. You make one, then you give one to every opponent, and they all work for you. Like, they might not attack the opponent you want every time.
They're putting in overtime. They're full-time workers.
They're the life of the party.
Yeah.
They're apps. I am super excited to see how much damage this card can throw around, because it feels like the numbers will get real insane real quick when you realize, dang, we went 2 goes around the table and it dealt 20 damage. It's
right.
Like, that's insane.
It's like if you're one of the opponents and someone's attacking you, or let's say I attack you with mine and it's like a 9/1. Are you going to chump with your life of the party? Why would you? Because it's just free damage that you could be throwing out to an opponent, which you are trying to kill, and you're only chumping 1 damage when I attack you, so it doesn't even seem like it's that good to chump block life of the party with Life of the Party. And obviously, I just want to flicker this thing. I think the power level's got to be right in the sweet spot when I look at this and I go, geez, this is like too good for Commander Cube.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I really do think this card is just insanely strong because of how much damage it will be throwing out. It's really going to, the numbers, like I just keep thinking about the numbers. It's like, I can just see this card easily dealing 20 damage, and this thing is not easy to block because it has first strike. And like you said, they don't trade with each other because of the great design that they have 0 power until they attack. Perfect. I just love this. Chef's kiss to design, chef's kiss to power. Let's go on to the next one, which is Life Insurance. It's number 6 on our list, and it is 3 white-black for an enchantment. It has Extort, which is super awesome to see returning. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you lose a life and get a treasure token. Very specific to the style of deck you want to be playing. You want to be an Aristocrats. Once you're in Aristocrats and you're in black-white, all right, we're in. This card is very, very good. I love that it gives you the life loss, so it's like, it's tough to go infinite with this because you are losing life. Like, we look at Pitiless Plunger. It wasn't hard to go infinite because you did lose life. But at the same time, you can negate a lot of the life loss, not just some of it, a lot of it with Extort, because every time you extort a spell, you gain 3 and you drain your opponents for 1 each. This card is, again, it's just a really good design where this isn't broken, this isn't busted, but the strength of this card is through the roof. And in the decks that are going to be using it, they're going to love this card.
It's not broken, and I don't think it's busted or broken or like too good for the format. You have to kill it. If you don't kill this card, you're going to lose because it goes infinite. It does just go infinite. Like, you lose a life, okay, well, I'll put Zulaport Cutthroat in play. And then you get treasures, and it's like, well, guess who's back? Nether Trader and Pitiless Plunderer, here to come do this loops, the Grave Crawlers and all this stuff. Grave Crawler's probably a really easy one. It's just like, then you break even with Zulaport Cutthroat triggers, and your life stays the same, and everybody else loses the game.
Yeah, that's completely fair. That is true, but that is an extra card you have to add.
Right, you add an extra card, but then it's like, this is good by itself. You're already a sacrifice deck. And you're just it's one of those critical mass things where if 5 cards similar to this and on that game plan stay in play, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, Extort is just an ability that when I can get it on a card, I want it, and as soon as the card provides me with a good effect, it's like, all right, thank you, Blind Obedience. It's just like, thank you, Blind Obedience. I will give me a good effect and Extort. Oh, it's so good. Life Insurance is great. Also, really sad flavor text that you can't buy back a pulse.
It's just like. True,
dark.
But geez, we didn't need to go there.
So dark. What's number 5, BC?
We got Resourceful Defense. 2 and a white for an enchantment. Whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target permanent you control. 4 and a white, move any number of counters from target permanent you control onto another target permanent you control. This card kind of just reads like a wet fart and doesn't sound like it does anything. But then you just think about it and you're like, whoa, in my counters decks, all my creatures that are leaving with counters, I can store them on like a land or something, and then this thing is sort of separate from where all my counters are. So if this dies, I can get it back, and my counters remain on the land, and I can move them back to whatever creature and just Voltron somebody to death. And there's so many other possibilities.
As long as this thing is on the battlefield, you're really safe. Your counters feel really safe, even through any board wipe. Something like an Undo Inversion wipes everything off the board. Doesn't matter. You store them onto your lands, and then you can get them back later. You can also put them on here for storage. Which is totally fine and works, because what's cool about that is you can put it on there, and then if they destroy this, you still get that trigger to move them to a land. So if you have something that, like, let's just say Doubling Season, where every time you move the counters over, they double, so put it on this, and that's like, well, go ahead, destroy it, and then I'll bring it back, and then I'll take those counters, and I'll double them again. This card is really good for your counters decks. It is... it's just a staple of white counters decks going forward. When you build a white counters deck, like white-green counters decks, I go, I want Hardened Scales.
Yeah, Basri's Lieutenant.
I want Basri's Lieutenant. I want Walking Ballista in my deck. I want this. You're in like the Ozolith. It's like
Kathar's Crusade.
It's to the point that I think it is going to be super staple for that archetype.
Yeah, there's probably even some weird stuff you can do, like with like a Hangerback Walker or something, where if you're moving counters around, or your creatures enter with counters, all of a sudden it's like, sack my Hangerback Walker, move the counters on a land, get a bunch of creatures that enter with a counter, and then when they die, they're all going on a land, and then it's like, the next thing I play just has 50 power. Deal with it.
It's just going to upgrade all your threats with the previous counters from before. We already know the Ozolith is amazing.
Pretty sweet.
It's a really insanely strong card that every time I've ever played it is killed, because people understand how big of a threat that card is. This is a different version. It's slower, but it is better at keeping the counters around.
Counters are way more resilient.
Yes, so resilient. And number 4 is our generous patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you comfortable. Thank you all for the direct support via patreon.com. You make these videos possible. Thank you guys again. Seriously, you're the best.
We're not joking. If there was a top 10 list of humans, you'd be on it. It's more like this isn't possible without you, and we really respect and appreciate all of you for supporting us.
Do you mean a top 10 list of like types of humans?
No.
Like
just people ever.
Well, because there's a lot more than 10. I don't know. Do they all tie somewhere?
They're all on it.
It's like the classic when I see my grandpa watches golf, there's like this
bold choice.
It's really quick, but like they'll be like number 1. There's like 7 tied, and it's like this guy's an 8th. It's like there's 7 tied at number 1, and then this one guy's an 8th.
Yes, exactly.
It's exactly like that. What's number 4? What's the real number 4?
It's Rose Room Treasurer. They are 3 in a red for a 4/3 alliance. Whenever the first 2 creatures enter the field under your control, you get treasures for each one of them, and after that, you can start paying X and dealing X damage to any target. Whoa.
Yeah, this card's really strong. The key to this is the treasures. The
treasures.
The first 2 creatures entering giving you treasures is what makes this card strong, and then it just has in gravy. That's not adding. Like, I'd still be happy with this card without the gravy on the end. So you can just kind of like save up all of these treasures and go, okay, one turn comes up, I'll play like X equals 3 on my secure the waste, and I'll use the rest of the mana to kill you because I couldn't kill you otherwise.
Yeah, and if you give this thing Death Touch, you could just start paying X as 1 every time and just killing stuff. There's a lot of utility aside from the fact that the best part of the card is just make 2 mana every turn.
Yes, it's super good. You want this in your high creature count decks. You're playing what? I'm thinking you're playing 20, 30, 40 creatures in your deck. And
maybe 40 ways to make creatures.
Yeah, 30. I think you're playing at least 30 ways to make creatures heading towards 40.
Yeah, these guys are really good. They don't even look that flashy, but I think this is going to do some serious work. It's a card that you could so easily include in so many decks, and then the Death Touch Pinger deck or the like super mega treasure deck, they're just going to go ham with this.
Yeah, I love this card. It's super cool. Next, another one of those cards I just absolutely love. It's Gran, Crescendo, X, white. Create X, 1/1, green, white, citizen tokens. Your creatures gain indestructible.
Ooh.
Okay. I am so in for this card. 1 more mana onto our Secure the Waste effect. Exactly the same card. It's an instant.
Well, it's Secure the Waste plus 1 white pip gives you just a totally different spell that you're also casting.
Which is super awesome. I love that this is so versatile. I love that. It's 2 mana protect your team. Sure, that's a really bad spell, but it's really great.
But
it's modal. We have the classic just Secure the Waste effect. Throw all my mana into it, get that many 1/1s. And then we have the other thing where someone sends all their creatures at me. Okay, play it for as much as I was going to play it. Get indestructible creatures.
Gain a bunch of life.
Block all their creatures. Nothing gets through unless they had a trample. And even if it had a trample, you can gang block it.
This card's super efficient. It's one of the best versions of this effect we've ever seen. And it's going in tons of decks, much like this next card that we're super high on. It's number 2. It's Lethal Scheme. 2 black, destroy target creature or planeswalker with Convoke. So you can tap 4 creatures and play this for free, and everything that convokes into it connives. If you tap 4 dummies you got lying around, spell's free, you draw 4, discard 4, plus the extra little bonus of, some of them are going to get counters.
This card is so good. It is a 0 mana removal spell with upside. What is going on? Why do my 0 mana removal spells don't need upside? This would be a good card without the upside. But there's upside. We just get to draw 4, discard 4, and black is absolutely the best color for connive. We want to fill our graveyard up with random stuff, so we're just going to draw, discard. The counters aren't that important. They're really
I'll take it.
But draw 4, discard 4, draw 1, discard, draw 1, discard, draw 1, discard. Fill my graveyard up with whatever I want. Probably find a reanimation spell because I dug pretty deep. Get something back from my graveyard later, and guess what? Oh, I removed the biggest threat on the battlefield.
Spot removal kind of, like this without Convoke just sucks. Like, the fact that it has Convoke is the absolute over-the-top, saves this card and then turns it into a playable card because we hate Hero's Downfall. We hate all of the, fair, the fair modes on Snuff Out and Deadly Rock are just bad cards. But we play them because they're, always free. And if you got enough creatures in your deck, this is always 1 or 0 mana.
Yeah, so the obvious downside of this card, and actually probably what keeps it from number 1 on this list, is you have to be set up on board for it to be the good spell you want. Otherwise, it's the bad spell, which it's nice to have. the mode where it's like, hey, even if I'm not set up, I can use it. But that's a bad spell, so we want to be set up on board to get the really good side of this. We're really looking to pay 0. We're always looking to tap 4 creatures to do it. But when you do, you're gonna feel like, wait, I just spent 0 mana, removed the biggest threat, drew 4 cards, discarded 4 cards. What just happened?
Yeah, it's in terms of the hierarchy of free spells, Snuff Out and Deadly Rock are above it. Then this is probably number 3. But when you actually resolve it in a way that makes it free, this is the best spell's effect.
Which is insane to say.
Yeah.
That is insane to think about that. This is the best. When this spell is used to the peak of what it can be used for, it is the best version of it.
Right, better than Deadly Rock. It's like, oh.
Oh, really? I mean, yeah. And we're talking about Exile versus Destroy, which is worse.
That too.
And we still think we're getting a better effect overall.
Yeah, crazy. How about number 1?
Oh, this card is great. Absolutely love it. Is Aerial Extortionist. 3 white for a 4/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield or deals combat damage, exile target non-land permanent. Its owner may cast it for as long as it remains exiled. Whenever another player casts a spell, if it wasn't cast from their hand, you draw a card.
Like the commanders?
Like their commanders or flashback spells or any infinite number of things that aren't cast from hand. Holy crap, is this card good. It comes down, removes the biggest threat off the battlefield. Sure, they can recast it, but as soon as they recast it, you draw a card. And then every single turn, you're exiling the best threat, because this is an evasive flyer. It's very rare that all 3 other players have flyers that can block this. Oh God, the fact that you're not stuck like, hey, if I hit this player, I have to get their thing. No, I'll hit you and then I'll exile their thing.
Hit you and then, I'll exile my own thing because I'd really just want the ETB again and I don't have a way to flicker it. Now I do. Great. I don't get the card, but it's a very important ETB, so I'll take that. Exiling and having them be able to cast it from exile, not for free, they have to just cast it from exile, is like something we don't really see almost ever. And I think it might just be better than exiling it. Like, it's definitely better than just Fiend Huntering it until this thing leaves, especially with the text on the card. But like, it's so easy to go, oh yeah, I'll just advance or I'll detract from your board, I'll kill your thing, and then I get my guy back. It's like, great. But this is like, no, you just have to waste some time and play your stupid spell again.
And when you do, I draw a card.
Take a card. Thank you very much.
Something really awesome about this card is there also is slight political advantage. If there is, say everyone does have flying blockers by some chance, but there's a Perforos over here.
Right.
Guys, let me hit you for 4. It's worth it. We'll get the Perforos off the field. This way they can't go crazy on the turn. They'll have to spend the time recasting Perforos.
Just like Blade Griff Prototype. Like the same play pattern.
Exactly. This card, Blade Griff Prototype is meh because it doesn't have an ETB. And it doesn't have the draw effect. This card is insanity.
It's even chunkier than Blade Griff. They just gave it +1/+1.
This is the only card in the whole list where it's like,
I'm excited.
Well, no, it's the only card in the whole list that doesn't need a specific deck. Like,
yeah, not the only card I'm excited for. I'm extra excited.
Like I can just throw this in any white deck.
It feels like it would just be good. Like the baseline level of kind of a weird Fiend Hunter type thing. It's almost like returning it to their hand, kind of. That plus static card draw whenever anyone plays their commander, or a slew of other bonus spells.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of this card. The fact is, it will draw you cards off of random things all the time. Every single commander. It's a lot of card advantage. It's a lot of tempo advantage. And the greatest thing is even when the players are replaying any of their things, no matter if you hit a big thing, 6 mana, they spent 6 mana, you drew 1 card, got it back. If you hit a 2-drop, they spend 2 mana, sure, they get it right back. Easy. It didn't even cost them very much.
But it's easier for you to draw a card.
Easier for you to draw a card. Oh my God, this card is amazing. This commander set overall, I think it has what I really like about it is most of the cards feel, other than Aerial Extortionist, like it's specific to decks, which is great.
I don't want a ton of new staples. I don't need it.
Yeah, like in fact, this is like the perfect amount. I'll take 1 new staple that can go in any sort of deck, every single commander product. That seems like a good rate that we should be at.
Because they got to stealth stuff.
They do. They absolutely have to stealth stuff. But if you want to see what we liked from the original New Capenna, New Capenna, not Commander.
It's in a box on the screen right now.
It is, and it's the top 10. Go check out the top 10 from that set and tell us, do you think Aerial Extortionist or the top card from that is better? I'll tell you, I think it's Aerial Extortionist. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.